Vernomatic Productions.
Hi, this is Martin Motnik from Accept, and you're listening to Metal Mayhem ROC with the Vernomatic and Southern Cal.
Why are you crying?
Who keeps saying rock is dead? Rock is not dead. And Rockin' Pod is an annual reminder of that. Rockin' Pod is a unique annual event bringing together rock fans, artists, podcasters, and vendors for events that celebrate the past, promote the present, and look to the future.
Step into the future.
Now, live on location at the aforementioned Rockin' Pod from downtown Nashville, Metal Mayhem ROC founder John the Vernomatic Verno and show producer and co-host Southern Cal.
Rockin' Pod 2023 is coming to an end. But it's been one hell of an afternoon. Vernomatic here with you, live from Nashville, along with my co-host, Southern Cal.
Good evening, Vernomatic.
And we're welcoming, we saved the best for last, from the band Accept, Martin Motnik. How are you, Martin?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me.
Of course. You know what? When we got the guest list of people, potential interviews, we went through it. And, we looked at everything, and people say, oh, Accept, is it Peter Baltes, is it that? It was like, I was interested in talking with you. We're excited about this. So tell us about your involvement with Accept, how long you've been with them, and how's it been going for you?
So I joined the band in March 2019, and it was a total right place, right time kind of moment. I had just moved to Nashville. And the band's actually based out of Nashville. So Wolf Hoffman, the lead guitar player,
Yep.
He's been living in Nashville for, years. And which is something I wasn't even aware of. I had moved here because a good friend of mine suggested I should give it a try. I'm originally from Germany. I moved to LA in 2008. Was in Vegas for a while. Then I did cruise ships for a while. And then I was kind of like done with that. And then my friend said, you should move to Nashville and just give that a try. And I had moved here, and then at the same time, I heard that Peter had left the band. He decided to move on, and that's when a friend of mine told me, "Hey, you should apply." And I was like, "Okay." And of course, I know Accept since the '80s. I mean, as a German, it's like one of the big two bands that were back in the '80s, the big rock bands. And I was like, "Well, sure, I'll give it a try." And so I just sent them an email and explained who I am, wrote him in German. I said, I'm really sorry to hear that Peter left the band. I don't know what you guys want to do, but if you want to continue, I would love the opportunity to audition. And explain a little bit who I am. And then, because I'm German, but I'm in town. I'm dual citizen. I did 3 tours with Uli Jon Roth from the Scorpions, which then turned out is one of Wolf's big influences. So that gave me a little bit of credibility.
Well, Uli. We all love Uli.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. He's a big bass and he was actually very instrumental in my whole endeavor, like coming and being in the United States. As a friend of mine, a bass player from Germany who played with him, and he heard that I was gonna give Los Angeles a shot, and then he said that Uli asked him, he's looking for a bass player for the American tour, and it was in 2008.
Okay.
And so he recommended me. He reached out to me, and then we made the whole visa thing work. Yeah. And then he got me on the bus, and then we toured for a month all over the United States.
So the last Accept, Too Mean to Die.
Yes.
Did you record that?
Oh yeah, I played on that.
Okay.
And I actually wrote a couple of lyrics and a couple of songs.
Well, what songs did you write?
Well, I wrote the skeleton, I would say, for Sucks to Be You. And for No One's Master.
Really?
And then I wrote a few lyrics also on top of that. Like for The Best Is Yet to Come, for instance, I wrote the verses. We collaborate,
Yeah.
For The Best Is Yet to Come, for instance, we had the music. I think Wolf had the music and Mark had the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
And then they asked me, hey, you want to try to write a verse? And I wrote the verse or the verses. And they said, oh, that's beautiful. Let's use it.
Unfortunately, Accept hasn't really done an official U.S. tour. It's like a short one last fall.
Yeah.
And, our boy Jason had to fill in.
Yeah.
And,
he did an amazing job.
How was it playing with Jason?
Oh, he's a riot. I mean, he's a super nice guy. And also just to have the balls to just jump in on a gig like that and say, yeah, what, you need me tomorrow? Sure, I'll do it.
Yeah,
and then
he told us about his notepad, his notebook with the light.
Right, but I mean, that's such something you have to do. It's not like that you stared on it, but it's like it gives you some. It's kind of like a mental, like a crotch, but not really.
Yeah,
it's like you're happy it's there. You know, if it's there, you don't even look at it. If it's not there, then you get nervous and then you space out.
Of course.
And so I totally understood it. But he just did such an amazing job. The fans understood what was going on. They were very just grateful that we didn't just say, you know what, we'll just cancel.
Well, wasn't Mark like right there too, or sir?
Later then, the first show, he did all by himself. Mark was still resting his voice. Mark got we all got a really bad cold on that tour.
Okay.
But for him, it's the worst because it goes on his voice, and then he's shot, especially with singing like that. You know, it's a high energy, and so he took a few days off, and then. So Jason did one show all by himself, and then the next one we started to combine, because Jason was more focusing on the classic stuff, the Udo songs.
Yep.
And we said, okay, let's have Jason sing the Udo stuff, and let's have Mark sing the Mark era stuff. And so they kind of like take turns, and the last 2-3 songs they were both on stage. It was just a party, you know. It was just so much fun on stage.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Dream Chaser LP that came out, and the band members that you have on there. Kulick is one, Joe Satriani another one. How did you end up getting a hold of these guys and getting them involved?
I mean, the whole thing was kind of like my COVID project. We were done with. I was done with recording my parts for To Mean to Die, and I was sitting at home like, okay, I need to do something to not go crazy, because all the gigs were canceled and everything. And that's when I started digging out my song ideas that I had collected over the years, and so started recording those, and I got some drummers, and then I was like, you know what, I should get a guest musician on every song, play a solo. So I play everything myself, but then there's kind of like a solo part where I wanted to have a guest.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started out reaching out to people that I admire as a musician. That like all my life, they've been like, wow, such great influence. And then it started. The first person that I got was, of course, I asked Wolf. The first person outside my circle, I would say, was Andy Timmons, and that happened in. Greg Bissonette was recording the drums, and we were talking while he was recording, and I said, I would love to have Andy Timmons on this one song he was drumming on right at that time. And he goes, oh, Andy and I are in the band. I could ask him. And I'm like, could you please do that?
Yeah, right.
And so he texts right away, and then Andy responds right away, said, oh yeah, sure, send it over. And that's how that starts. And then I started reaching out to people that would be impressed by that. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of have to go strategically, because I didn't know all of them personally. And of course, like being Accept helped, and I made an album with Greg Bissonette years ago, and then that kind of, but still you cannot start with the biggest dog.
Yeah, work the way up.
So you
might get somebody's like, hey, look at, I want to play. This guy's playing on this album.
That's
I want
exactly
to play
how
it because I like him.
Exactly. And then I had Jennifer Batten. I had met her a few years ago. I asked her. Frank Gambale, I met him when I was living in L.A. And then they started all to agree. And then at some point I was like, you know what, let me shoot for Joe Satriani, because he's like one of the biggest guitar players and one of the biggest influences. It was Greg again who got me in touch with Joe's manager. And I was like, oh, it doesn't hurt to ask. And so I got in touch with him, and he was like, yeah, Joe would. I mean, they don't do it for free. Of course, we do this for a living. But just the fact that he said, oh, yeah, listen to it, I'd do it. That was a big, also compliment. That's how I took it. Yeah, of course. But, that's how that happened. And then you get like one after the other, Derek Sherinian, and then, at some point, other people want to be a part of it.
Well, like many musicians, like yourself, and Wolf, obviously, a lot of people are leaving L.A. and from all over the world, and Nashville seems to be the magnet now. So a lot of musicians living here, a lot of big musicians living here. It's Music City. How are you enjoying being in Nashville?
I like it. It's and that's what it is. It's becoming a melting pot also from different styles. I'm not the biggest country music fan, probably because I didn't grow up here. I think it's something that just is something that you have to be surrounded by when you, from like when you were a child. I think it's a very traditional American music, and I'm just not from here. It's just how it is, and it's a different style of playing too. I remember the first time I was in Nashville was 2004. I would go down Broadway and listen to like the musicians that played in the bars back then, and it was all crazy chicken picking traditional country. I didn't even understand it. It was like I could never live. I could never survive here. It's like they speak a different language musically. I was like, let me go to LA. They play rock. I understand that. And now it has changed a lot of. I even think that Wolf is one of the ringleaders why so many rock people moved here. Because then with Wolf came Michael Wagner. And Michael Wagner attracted a lot of rock producer. Right? He attracted a lot of other musicians, and then Skid Row came because Michael produced them, and guys from Tesla, Motley Crue, a few people, and then that's just how it attract. And then now it has a more lively recording scene too, and the studios are here where a lot of Deep Purple comes here, records here, and so that makes it way more open. Yeah, for the whole rock scene, and I like that a lot. So that's yeah, it is. But it's still, the country is still here, so that's I'm very open-minded musically, and so I always like listening to different kinds of music, different styles of music, and bringing that together. And I think that happens here.
What's going on with Accept? Touring this spring, summer?
Well, so we did the October tour last year, so we did that. We just came back from Europe, playing finally touring the album in Europe after that's been postponed twice. So that has happened. It was a great success. We were a little nervous about turnout and everything, because so many bands are on tour now, so you cannot just expect that. And people were waiting, but then there's only so many concerts you can go to. But it was fantastic. Like, some shows were sold out, and the other ones, I don't know where you would have put more people. So that was really good. So we just came back from there. We have another couple of weeks coming up in South America in April. So that's going to be fun. But then the summer we're not playing. We're going to focus on a new record.
I love all Accept, but I really like the Tornello era.
Yeah.
Too Mean to Die is a great album. You know, like I said, we have a live radio show on Monday nights, and Accept's in the rotation.
Awesome.
Did you not play Sucks to Be You after the Bills-Miami game?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I did. Big Miami Dolphin fan. So when Miami upset Buffalo in October.
That's a good song for that.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, Buffalo, sucks to be you.
We're from Rochester. We're an hour to the east of Buffalo, so it's Bills country, and you got this Dolphin guy hanging out up there.
You know, just like anything else, the show is well programmed. And one of my go-to songs after the first mic break is Overnight Sensation. It's just like, that is, radio written all
That's
over
awesome.
it.
We play it every night, too. That's a staple in the set now.
Well, that's awesome. Before we let you go, tell us about these sushi dinners you guys have. When you were growing up in Germany, was sushi on the menu?
No, it's when did sushi come up? Like in the 90s or something? I don't know. I don't know. It just became a thing. I think somebody wrote it on the writer, and then now every night we come off stage and there's a plate of sushi there, and we're like, well, why not?
Martin, I got a couple quick ones. What's your preferred bass?
Well, I have my friend Jens Ritter. He's been building me a few instruments already in the past.
Some custom.
And I mean, you can never go wrong with a Fender bass, like a Precision. That was my first bass. Now, still.
What's your thoughts on Rickenbackers?
They're different. They're unique.
Unique sound, kind of tough to play.
Kind of like a baseball bat, a little bit.
There you go. I like that analogy. Perfect.
With the Rickenbacker 4001.
The 401,
See that one? It's awesome. I mean, it's got a very distinguished look, It's like a distinct look. So,
yeah, very distinct look. All the Rickenbacker guitars were like that. And have you been able to find any Ritter or any Kinder chocolates while you're here? I don't know if you're into the chocolates.
None here. No.
No? Down in Florida, we have a store, and my wife's half German, and her grandmother's got an aunt that comes over and brings us bags full of this German chocolate that, to die for.
That's good. I know. Excellent. I have to be careful. I don't want to. I could.
The Ritter is my favorite. All the Ritter bars.
And there's so many different ones, and then you crack them open, and
great stuff.
Well, Martin Motnik, thank you for stopping in. Again, the album, Dream Chaser. Where can people get in touch with you? What are your socials? Are you active on social media?
I am actually probably quite active. So, and my name is pretty unique. Martin Motnik, Motnik. I'm on Facebook, on Instagram, YouTube, not TikTok. And then I do session work. I have my own recording studio, and people can hire me for bass tracks. StudioBassist.com is my website. And I play for people.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for stopping in. Best of luck. Enjoy the rest of the convention and stay safe and healthy.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you stopping by today.
Thanks for having me.
Metal for life.
Thank you for listening to Metal Mayhem ROC. Check out our website at metalmayhemroc.com for information on podcasts, archives, links to all our live radio shows, and all sorts of info. Please like, follow, and share with everyone, even your non-metal friends. And always remember to keep it heavy.